Imagine you're 19 years old, climbing a vertical 1,000-foot ice cliff in complete darkness. You're fixing ropes for your team to follow. Suddenly, Pakistani machine guns open fire. Your commanding officer is killed instantly. 2 of your comrades fall dead beside you. You've been shot. In the shoulder. In the groin. 15 more bullets tear through your body. 17 bullet wounds total. You should be dead. But instead of falling, instead of retreating, you keep climbing. 60 more feet, straight up. Shot 17 times. And when you reach the top, you kill 4 enemy soldiers in hand-to-hand combat. You capture the bunker. You win the battle. This isn't fiction. This is the true story of Yogendra Singh Yadav, the youngest person ever to receive India's highest military honor, the Param Veer Chakra. At 19 years old, after taking 17 bullets and refusing to die, the Indian Army declared him dead. They were preparing his posthumous award. Then someone noticed. Yadav was still breathing, still fighting, still alive. Stay with me, because what this teenage soldier did on Tiger Hill will show you that age doesn't define courage, that one person can change the outcome of a war, and that sometimes being too stubborn to die is the greatest weapon of all. Chapter 1. Born into the Army. May 10, 1980. Aurangabad Ahir Village, Bulandshahr District, Uttar Pradesh, India. A baby boy named Yogendra Singh Yadav was born into a military family. His father, Karan Singh Yadav, served in the Kumaon Regiment of the Indian Army. Karan had fought in 2 wars, the 1965 Indo-Pakistani War and the 1971 Bangladesh Liberation War. He knew what combat meant. He knew what sacrifice required. Young Yogendra grew up hearing his father's stories of defending the nation, of brotherhood among soldiers, of duty and honor. The Indian Army wasn't just his father's job, it was the family legacy. From childhood, Yogendra dreamed of following in his father's footsteps. He wanted to wear the uniform. He wanted to serve India. He wanted to be a soldier. But Yogendra's childhood wasn't easy. The family wasn't wealthy. Life in rural Uttar Pradesh was hard. But Yogendra was determined, disciplined. He trained his body. He studied. He prepared. At just 16 years and 6 months old, Yogendra Singh Yadav enlisted in the Indian Army. He was assigned to the 18 Grenadiers Regiment, one of the most prestigious infantry units in the Indian Army. The 18 Grenadiers have a motto, Sarvada Shaktishali, which means always powerful. Yogendra was about to prove just how powerful one young soldier could be. Chapter 2. The Kargil War begins. May 1999. The Kargil district of Jammu and Kashmir, India. High in the Himalayas, along the line of control separating India and Pakistan, Indian Army patrols discovered something alarming. Pakistani soldiers in militants had crossed the line of control and occupied strategic peaks on the Indian side. They had dug in, fortified their positions, set up machine gun nests and artillery. From these heights, the Pakistanis controlled the Srinagar-Kargil-Leh highway, India's vital supply route to Ladakh. They could bombard any traffic on the road. They could cut off Indian forces in Ladakh. This wasn't a border skirmish. This was an invasion, and India had to respond. The Indian Army launched Operation Vijay. The mission? Recapture every peak the Pakistanis had occupied. Drive them back across the line of control. Restore Indian sovereignty. But this wouldn't be easy. The Pakistanis held the high ground, fighting at altitudes between 16,000 and 18,000 feet, in freezing temperatures on vertical cliffs, against fortified bunkers. This was going to be one of the most difficult military operations in Indian history. And 19-year-old Grenadier Yogendra Singh Yadav was about to be thrown into the heart of it. Chapter 3. Tiger Hill. The most important target. Tiger Hill. At 16,500 feet above sea level, this peak dominated the entire region. From Tiger Hill, you could see everything. The Srinagar-Kargil-Leh highway, the town of Dras, Indian positions for miles. Whoever controlled Tiger Hill controlled the battlefield. The Pakistanis knew this. They had fortified Tiger Hill extensively. Multiple bunkers, machine gun nests, mortar positions. And they had the advantage of fighting downhill. Any Indian assault would have to climb straight up, completely exposed to enemy fire. The Indian army had to take Tiger Hill. But how? The approach was a nightmare. A vertical cliff face, 1,000 feet high, covered in ice and snow. No obvious path, no cover. Just rock, ice, and death waiting at the top. The 18 Grenadiers were given the mission. And within the 18 Grenadiers, a special unit was chosen. The Ghatak Platoon. Ghatak means lethal or killer in Hindi. These were the regiment's best soldiers, trained for the most dangerous missions, assault specialists, the men you send when the mission is impossible. Grenadier Yogendra Singh Yadav was part of the Ghatak platoon. At 19, he was one of the youngest, but he was strong, fearless, and he volunteered for the most dangerous position. He would be the lead climber. Chapter 4. The night of July 3rd, 1999. July 3rd, 1999, night. The Ghatak platoon prepared for their assault on Tiger Hill. The plan was simple, but terrifying. Under cover of darkness, the platoon would scale the 1,000-foot cliff. The lead climber would fix ropes for the others to follow. Once they reached the top, they'd assault 3 Pakistani bunkers, capture them, hold the position until reinforcements arrived. Yogendra volunteered to be the lead climber. The most exposed position, the most dangerous job. Someone has to go first, Yogendra said. I'll do it. His commanding officer, Lieutenant Balwan Singh, nodded. He knew Yogendra was brave, but even Balwan didn't know just how brave. The platoon moved out in complete darkness. Cold, silent. They reached the base of the cliff and began to climb. Yogendra led the way. Hammer in one hand, piton in the other. Rope coiled over his shoulder, rifle on his back. He drove pitons into the ice, fixed the rope, climbed higher, fixed another piton, climbed higher. Below him his comrades followed, hand over hand, up the rope, into the darkness. For hours they climbed. No one spoke. The only sounds were the wind, the clink of metal on ice, and their labored breathing in the thin air. Then, about 60 feet from the top, disaster struck. Chapter 5. The Ambush. Pakistani sentries spotted the climbing platoon. Alarms went off, and hell erupted. Machine gun fire, automatic grenade launchers, rockets, artillery. The Pakistanis opened up with everything they had. Lieutenant Balwan Singh, who was leading right behind Yogendra, was hit immediately, killed instantly. He fell. 2 more grenadiers were killed in the first seconds of fire. Their bodies fell from the cliff. The platoon was pinned down, trapped on the cliff face. They couldn't advance. They couldn't retreat. They were being slaughtered. And Yogendra, the lead climber, was in the most exposed position of all. Bullets tore through him. One hit his shoulder, another hit his groin, then another, and another. 17 bullets hit Yogendra Singh Yadav's body. 17 separate wounds. His shoulder was shattered, his groin torn apart. Blood poured down the cliff. Any normal person would have fallen, would have died. But Yogendra didn't fall. He realized something. If he fell, if he died, the entire platoon would be stuck on the cliff, helpless. They'd all die. So Yogendra decided he wasn't going to die. Not here, not now. With 17 bullets in his body, bleeding profusely, Yogendra kept climbing.
The medics declared Yogendra Singh Yadav dead. They covered his body with a blanket and moved on to treat soldiers who might survive. Back at headquarters, the report came in. Grenadier Yogendra Singh Yadav, killed in action during the assault on Tiger Hill. Recommend for posthumous Paramveer Chakra. His family was informed. Your son died a hero. He gave his life for India. News agencies picked up the story. 19-year-old soldier dies capturing Tiger Hill. Youngest Paramveer Chakra to be awarded posthumously. But there was a problem, a big problem. Yogendra Singh Yadav wasn't dead. Chapter 8. The Miracle. Hours after being declared dead, someone noticed Yogendra's body moving. A slight twitch, a breath. Medics rushed over, checked again. My God, he's alive! Yogendra was immediately evacuated to a military hospital in Delhi. The doctors were astonished. 17 bullet wounds. How was this possible? One bullet had shattered his shoulder. Another had torn through his groin, narrowly missing his femoral artery. If it had hit that artery, Yogendra would have bled out in seconds, but it missed by millimeters. Other bullets had torn through muscle, fat, tissue. Painful, debilitating, but not immediately fatal. The combination of extreme cold, which slowed blood flow, adrenaline, which kept him moving, and sheer willpower had kept Yogendra alive long enough to get medical treatment. The doctors operated, surgery after surgery, removing bullets, repairing tissue, reconstructing his shoulder. Yogendra spent 14 months in the hospital, recovering, rehabilitating, learning to use his arm again, dealing with the trauma. But he survived. Yogendra Singh Yadav, declared dead, was alive, and the Indian government had to make an awkward correction. Apologies. The Paramveer Chakra is not posthumous. Grenadier Yadav is alive, and he's getting his medal in person. Chapter 9. The Paramveer Chakra. The Paramveer Chakra. In Hindi, it means the wheel of the ultimate brave, India's highest military decoration, equivalent to the American Medal of Honor or the British Victoria Cross. Since its creation in 1950, only 21 people have received the Paramveer Chakra, most of them posthumously, because earning it usually means dying in the process. On August 15, 1999, Independence Day, Indian President K.R. Narayanan presented the Paramveer Chakra to Grenadier Yogendra Singh Yadav. Yogendra was still recovering, still in pain, but he stood at attention in his dress uniform and received India's highest honor. At 19 years and 3 months old, Yogendra Singh Yadav became the youngest recipient of the Paramveer Chakra in history, and one of only 3 living recipients. The official citation reads, Grenadier Yogendra Singh Yadav displayed the most conspicuous courage, indomitable gallantry, grit and determination under extreme adverse circumstances. But those words don't capture the full insanity of what Yogendra did, climbing 60 feet with 17 bullet wounds, killing 4 enemy soldiers in close combat while half dead, refusing to accept death. That's not just courage, that's legendary. Chapter 10. Life after Tiger Hill. After his recovery, Yogendra Singh Yadav returned to active service. He didn't retire, didn't take a desk job, he went back to being a soldier. He was promoted through the ranks, from Grenadier to Lance Naik, to Nayak, to Havaldar, to Subedar. By 2021, he held the rank of Subedar Major, the highest rank for a non-commissioned officer in the Indian Army. In India's 75th Independence Day in 2021, President Ramnath Kovind promoted Yogendra to honorary captain, recognizing his continued service and inspirational role. But Yogendra never sought glory. He remained humble. I was just doing my duty, he always said. My comrades who died on that cliff, they are the real heroes. Yogendra married and started a family. He traveled across India, speaking to schools, inspiring young people, sharing his story. In 2020, Yogendra appeared on the Indian game show Kaun Banega Karodpati, hosted by Bollywood legend Amitabh Bachchan. Yogendra won 25 lakh rupees, about $30,000. He donated the entire amount to the Army Welfare Fund. Yogendra's story was depicted in Bollywood films. Laksha, in 2004, starring Hrithik Roshan, dramatized the assault on Tiger Hill. Lok Kargil, in 2003, featured actor Manoj Bajpayee portraying Yogendra. But the real Yogendra remained modest. He didn't want to be a movie star. He wanted to be a soldier. And he continued serving until his retirement. Chapter 11. The Living Legend. Today, Yogendra Singh Yadav is one of India's most celebrated military heroes. His bust stands at the National War Memorial in Delhi. His story is taught in military academies. He is a symbol of courage for an entire nation. But more than the medals and honors, Yogendra represents something fundamental about the human spirit. The refusal to quit, the determination to complete the mission even when your body is destroyed, the willingness to sacrifice everything for your brothers, for your country. Yogendra often reflects on that night on Tiger Hill. He said, "I thought about my father, about the honor of the regiment, about my friends climbing behind me. I couldn't let them down. I couldn't fall."
Chapter 6. 60 more feet to hell. 60 feet. That's all that separated Yogendra from the top of the cliff. 60 feet between death on the cliff face and a chance to fight back. Yogendra climbed, hand over hand, inch by inch, his body screaming in agony, blood making the rope slippery, his vision blurring from blood loss. But he climbed. The Pakistanis kept firing at him. How was he not dead? How was he still moving? Yogendra reached up, grabbed, pulled, reached again, grabbed, pulled, mechanical, relentless, unstoppable. And finally, after an eternity of pain, Yogendra Singh Yadav reached the top of the cliff. He pulled himself over the edge, onto the snow, into the Pakistani defensive position. 4 Pakistani soldiers saw him. This Indian soldier, covered in blood, emerging from the cliff like a ghost. They raised their weapons, but Yogendra was faster. Even with 17 bullet wounds, adrenaline and pure rage made him superhuman. He pulled out grenades, threw them. The explosions tore through the Pakistani position. Then Yogendra grabbed his rifle and opened fire, point-blank range. He killed 2 Pakistani soldiers with his rifle. 2 more Pakistanis charged him with bayonets. Hand-to-hand combat, close quarters, brutal. Yogendra fought them, shot up, bleeding, half dead. He killed both of them in close combat. 4 Pakistani soldiers dead. The machine gun position silenced. The bunker neutralized. And Yogendra collapsed. Finally. His body couldn't take anymore. But he'd done it. He'd climbed 60 feet with 17 bullet wounds. He'd killed 4 enemy soldiers. He'd opened the path for his platoon. The other grenadiers, inspired by Yogendra's impossible courage, surged up the rope. They reached the top. They captured the other bunkers. They secured Tiger Hill. The battle was won, but at a terrible cost. Chapter 7. Declared dead. When medics reached Yogendra, they examined him quickly. 17 bullet wounds, massive blood loss, no apparent pulse, no signs of life. And finally, what kept him climbing, not ego, not glory, brotherhood, duty, love of country. Chapter 12. What Yogendra teaches us. So what can we learn from Yogendra Singh Yadav? What does his story teach us? First, age doesn't define capability. Yogendra was 19, a teenager. Many people at 19 are still figuring out what to study in college. Yogendra, at 19, led a commando assault on a fortified enemy position at 16,500 feet. Age is just a number. Courage has no age limit. Second, the mission matters more than the pain. Yogendra could have stopped climbing after the first bullet, after the 5th, after the 10th, but he knew that stopping meant his comrades would die, so he kept going.
When the mission is bigger than yourself, you find strength you didn't know you had. Third, heroes are humble. Yogendra Singh Yadav, India's youngest Paramveer Chakra recipient, India's greatest living war hero, always deflects attention. I was just doing my duty. That's real heroism. Not seeking glory, just doing what needs to be done. Finally, Yogendra teaches us that sometimes being too stubborn to die is a superpower. The medics declared him dead. His body should have given up, but Yogendra decided he wasn't done yet. Sometimes willpower is stronger than biology. Let me take you back to that cliff. July 3rd, 1999. You are 19 years old. You've been shot 17 times. Your commanding officer is dead. Your friends are dying. You're bleeding out on a frozen cliff in the Himalayas. What do? If you're Yogendra Singh Yadav, you climb. 60 more feet, straight up, with 17 bullets in your body. And when you reach the top, you don't collapse. You fight. You kill 4 enemy soldiers in close combat. You capture the bunker. You win the battle. Then and only then do you allow yourself to collapse. That was Yogendra Singh Yadav, the boy who climbed into legend, the youngest Paramveer Chakra recipient in history, the soldier who refused to die. Captain Honorary Yogendra Singh Yadav, born May 10th, 1980. Still alive, still inspiring, still a living legend. Remember his lesson, that courage isn't about size, age, or strength. It's about refusing to quit, about completing the mission no matter the cost, about being too stubborn to die when your brothers need you. If Yogendra can climb 60 feet with 17 bullet wounds, what's your excuse? The boy who was declared dead is very much alive, and his legend will live forever.